Today we will talk about our analysis of the database of Airbnbs in New York. This database we accessed on the 31st of August 2022 via Kaggle, and the database presents data extracted from information from the Airbnb website. And the dataset only includes Airbnbs from New York. It is a dataset with 26 variables, 13 quantitative and 13 qualitative, and variables, among others, represent location variables, price variables, availability, and also characteristics of the Airbnbs. First, we did a database cleaning of this database. We removed 8 variables of irrelevant data, leaving only 17 variables. We removed license because there was only 2 entries with a license. We removed country and country code, as these are in all cases the same. We removed name, ID, name of host, host ID, and house rules, because these are all entries which have a unique value, which is not relevant for us. There are no duplicates in the data as far as we checked, and we found 2 structural errors, which were 2 capital letters in some of the entries. Just have to, like in some entries they were written with a capital, and some entries they were not, so they were counted as 2 separate entries, but should be the same, so we had to fix that. We also found some outliers in the 360 availability, like how many days a year is the Airbnb available. We found values, negative values, which can of course not be the case, and we found also negative values in minimum nights. And for the last review, some of the entries were no dates, so we removed these rows. For the missing data, there was also some missing data. Actually, every variable had some missing data, some only a few. Others, like last reviews or reviews per month, had more than 15,000 missing data points. We was case by case if we needed those entries. Then we removed the whole entire row if we compared to variables in which it was not needed. We left it like that. And we imputed the missing data with NA, and in price and fee we deleted some rows.
For this part of the data analysis, we have our table dashboard where we have 4 tables. The number 1 is the largest one on the left, and is the table of how many types of room there are per neighborhood. We have 5 types of neighborhood, that is Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. And we have 4 types of rooms, that is entire home or apartment, hotel room, private room, or share room. The next table is the mean price per neighborhood. Then we have the mean service fee per neighborhood, and finally we have the mean review rate per neighborhood. So as we can see in this dashboard is all the graphs for the past tables, where the number 1 is the total room type by neighborhoods. We have the distribution along Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. As we can see, the most popular or the most published one are entire home apartment, and are distributed between Brooklyn and Manhattan. And the fewest one are Staten Island and Bronx. Then in the next graph, we can see the mean price by these neighborhoods, where the fewest one are Manhattan and the maximum is Queens. That is for the difference between these two is about $8, so it's not a great difference. Then we can see the mean service fee by these neighborhoods. It's the same. We only have a few dollars of difference, so it's no a big change or a relevant change. And the last one is the mean review rate number by neighborhoods, that the host review this part of the neighborhoods. And the most liked one is States Island with 3.38 stars, and the fewest one is Brooklyn with 3.25. But as we can see in the other graphs, it's like the same for all of these neighborhoods. So this is the analysis for this part of Excel.
Well, hello. This would be our Python code. We can see this code is to have 4 graphs in one, and we can see the code for each one. You can identify it because it's below the PLT subplot. For the first one, we have host identity verified bar graphs, and for the second one, we will have a pie chart for the neighborhood group and the quantity of Airbnbs on each neighborhood. On the third one, we would have another pie chart, and on the third one, we would have on the fourth one, we would have a box plot. So we will go to it. First, we have the host identity verified. Verified hosts. In other words, we can see it's pretty even, the verified and the unconfirmed hosts, and that's the bar graph. We can see it's about 50,000 each, and then we would go to the first pie chart. It would be neighborhood group. We can see the most Airbnbs would be gathered in Manhattan with 43%, then Brooklyn, then Queens, then Bronx, and Staten Island would be the one with the less Airbnbs. New York. Then we have our cancellation policy. It's pretty even, 33% in each one. We have moderate, flexible, and strict. It's pretty even. And our last chart, it's the box plot. As we can see, this box plot would be for the neighborhood group. All the neighborhood group data is in this box plot. We can see there are no outliers since we don't have any data above the limits. For the third quartile, we can see it's around 970, and for the first one, we can see it's around for the first one, it would be around 350, and we know the median would be the one in the middle, and we can calculate that by doing the third quartile minus the first quartile, and that will give us around 620. So we can see it's around that. So this would be our box plot graph.
Okay, this is our Power BI graphs. The first important thing to say is that all the graphs are divided by the construction year, and we can see the different variables in each graph. In the first one, we can see the review rate number. In the second one, we can see the service fee, and in the third one, we can see the number of reviews. All of these per construction year. And we have a fourth graph or a fourth tool that it's a map. This map is really interactive, and it let us see the ubication exact of each Airbnb divided by the construction year. Like for example, in 2007, we can see a strong blue, all the Airbnbs that were built in that year. These graphs are really interesting because almost all the data in these graphs is the same. I mean, it's almost the same service fee per construction year. It's almost the same review rate number and almost the same number of reviews. It's really interesting because we believe that before we build these graphs, we believe that the construction year was a variable really important to in the service fee or in the review rate number. But when we graph and we can see it's the same, we can conclude that it's not really important like the year in all these variables.
So for the final part on our executive summary, we can conclude that it's more easy to find an entire room or apartment or a private room, and the least polluted are hotel rooms because it's a different type of clients for Airbnb, where 84% of the properties are in Brooklyn and Manhattan, with a price range that goes from $50 to $1,200, where the average price per these neighborhoods is $625 with a plus a fee between $125, where I'll have a mean review rank of 3.3 stars between these neighborhoods. And the rent of the properties in State Island could be boosted. It's a little bit far from the principal city, but it has a better review valuation, and we saw that the price is a few less compared to the others. So we can find a way to boost the rents here in this area. And so finally, New York has a great variety of prices and places to choose. And we observe that the average price is high, but it's also a very touristic place and with the highest rental prices in the United States. So it's normal to see these types of prices in properties when you are going to find a place to stay in New York in Airbnb.